Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Riverfront Stadium as the Reds return home to kick off a 6-game Eastern Division homestand, and they'll start it off in the first of a 3-game series against the Eastern Division leaders, the Chicago Cubs. And this game, of course, will go down as one of the more memorable in the history of the Cincinnati Reds franchise because it will be Game 1 in the managerial career of one Peter Edward Rose. For Cincinnati, Pete will have the advantage of going with the best on this pitching staff, right-hander Mario Soto, while for Jim Fry's Chicago Ball Club, it'll be right-hander Dick Ruthven. As you might expect, Pete is my guest on Touching Bases, and with pleasure, I'll be back with a new Reds manager when we continue in just a moment. The Reds and the Cubs begin a 3-game series at Riverfront tonight. The game itself is almost secondary because this is a managerial debut, of course, of Pete Rose, and if you didn't know that, you had to be off the planet or somewhere else other than in and around Cincinnati and in and around the United States. Pete, you nervous?
No, Marty, I'm not nervous because as far as managing the game, I'll be right next to Shugs, who I got the utmost respect for as far as handling players and handling game situations. And I'm just going to sit around the next couple of days and sort of take everything in. I'm not going to try to be a genius all of a sudden, although I am going to play tonight. I'm going to play first base tonight, and Nick will be back in the lineup tomorrow night, and hopefully we can beat the Cubs tonight and get this thing off in the right foot. I don't know what's going on around here. All I can go on is what I saw when I played this ball club, Marty, and this ball club, as you know, played pretty well against the Expos.
Right.
I mean, they beat us 7 out of 12, and they could have very easily beat us a couple of other games. So, and I can only think about how they played against us, and they played pretty darn good. So I don't know what the problems are, and it's probably going to take me some time to understand different situations and different people.
Pete, we were together back when I first came here in 74 and 5 and 6 and 7, and I don't know in the 11 years I've been with this club that I have ever seen a personnel move create such excitement and intensity among Cincinnati Reds fans. People who said they would never, ever come back are now returning to this ballpark for the first time. Does it concern you that people may look upon you as, quote-unquote, a messiah, a miracle worker, a man who's going to turn this thing around right now?
Well, I hope to turn it around in some respect. I hope I can get through to some of the players and just get them thinking positive and having fun again. And I think if the players start having fun like I think they're capable of having, then it will show on the field, and consequently the fans will start having fun. But I think I have to emphasize to the ball club that we're not going to win it this year.
Right.
I mean, but we can set a tone for 1985 in the remaining 6 weeks. And I like to send all the guys home at the conclusion of this season where they're anxious to get back for spring training next year. And it's tough, Marty. As you know, it's real tough to go through what we're going through right now as a team because when you know you don't have a chance of going to the playoffs or the World Series, you start counting the days and different things like that. And that's the last thing you want to do in a baseball uniform. And I'm just going to try to create some excitement for these young players in this ball club and for the veteran players, too, because listen, when you got a uniform on, your purpose should be going out there and trying to win the game, and I just hope these guys understand that for the next 41 games.
Pete Rose is our guest, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. Reds manager Pete Rose, our guest on Touching Bases before Game 1 against the Cubs at Riverfront Stadium tonight. I think people pretty well understand the fact that you never wanted to leave here, that even in the good years you had with Philadelphia, your heart was still in Cincinnati. Now you're back, but did you ever think that you would manage this ball club?
Well, I didn't think I would ever have an opportunity to manage it this soon. I thought when I was retired as an active player and probably spend a couple years in the minor leagues or something like that, I'd have a chance of managing this ball club because I think the people upstairs know the kind of knowledge I have for the game and how I love the game and how interested I am in the game during the game. And I think based on those lines, I thought I had a chance someday, but I never dreamed I'd be coming back here as a player manager, and I didn't dream a week and a half ago I'd be coming back here because it wasn't even talked about. Then all of a sudden, because Jeff Russell's wedding reception, Mr. Hauser and Mr. Katz got together and they start throwing the ball in different courts, and here I am, and I'm very happy about it because it's a challenge. I've always really liked challenges, and it's going to be something it's going to take a lot of hard work and dedication to turn around, and you know how I am as far as hard work and dedication. Right. I mean, I'll dedicate myself 23 hours a day to get this thing turned around because I know how baseball can be played in Cincinnati, and I know how the people of Cincinnati expect it to be played, and I know what the rewards are if you play it well.
Pete, I'm going to put you on the spot. I was thinking about some of the great former players who failed miserably as major league managers. Rogers Hornsby was not a good big league manager. Ted Williams was a disaster when he managed the Washington Senators. Frank Robinson has had problems and ultimately was fired with the San Francisco Giants. What makes you think, and certainly you're going to be in the Hall of Fame, that you can be different, you can do what they couldn't do?
Well, I don't really know. If anything, I think that the guys you mentioned were all born with God-given talent, and most of the things that I've achieved in baseball, in a baseball uniform, I really worked hard. I mean, I'm the guy they said couldn't run, couldn't throw, couldn't do anything except hit when I was a kid growing up in Cincinnati. I think most of the players understand that most of the things I've achieved, I really worked hard to achieve, and I think because of that, I'll have more of an understanding for players who are in situations where they may not feel well, or they may have a sore arm, or they may have a sore leg, or they don't want to play at this day. And I think I understand the modern-day ball player a lot more because I've been through both eras, so to speak. And I've been, I've had the big contract, I had the little contract, I've had the in-between contract. So I know a lot. I put everything that I try to see and learn in my head, and I just hope to. And I've always got along with young players, and I think there's a lot of young players in this ball club, and I've always taken a lot of time with young players, both here, Philadelphia, and Montreal. And I think I have a way, I think, of relating to different ball players about different things. And I hope that the knowledge I have about baseball, I can give some of these young players here and make them better players.
Nice to have Mario Soto pitching in your first game.
I wish he could pitch every night. I mean, I'm glad I don't have to hit off of him no more. Right. But he's one of the best in the league, and of course, it'll be nice to see a big crowd out there, and I can just relate to the players. It's just the way it used to be every night. We used to have 35 to 40,000 people. You were here, and you know yourself, it's a lot more fun when you're playing in front of 35,000 people than 5 or 10,000.
Pete, it's nice to have you back.
Okay, Marty, thank you.
Pete Rose has been our guest. The Reds and the Cubs from Riverfront. Stay tuned. Joe Nuxall's coming up on the Reds Radio Network.
Everybody, tonight, the Reds and the Cubs open a 3-game series here at Riverfront. Of course, the Cubs leading the East, and a big night as far as the Reds go, as Pete Rose returns as the manager and player also. And our guest, a guy that played many years with Pete, Tony Perez. We'll be back with Tony after this word. Well, Tony, last year you were with Pete in a World Series. Did you ever in this world expect Pete to be here as your skipper?
Really, Joe, I tell you what, these past 2 years, God been good to me, I guess, in my last few years in the big leagues, and he got me back with Joe and P last year, and we went to the World Series, and that was a lot of fun. And right now, I can tell you how I feel to be here and be one of the players that Pete Rose going to manage, and he's back here in Cincinnati, and I tell you what, we've been here all year around. We hear the fun is back in Cincinnati. We're coming outside tonight, today, and see a lot of people out there in the stands and P in the field with the Cincinnati uniform. I think the fun is back. Right now, I think this is the time where the fun is back, and I want all the fans to know the way we feel. All the players, we are very happy to have P back like they do. I know the fans in Cincinnati, P belong to Cincinnati. He's a Cincinnatian, and I think we're going to have some fun from now on.
Tony, when you look at Pete, and certainly we go back a long time with Pete, his very first day in the major leagues, and you think of his years as a player, and now all of a sudden he's a manager, and I think everybody feels that Pete will make one heck of a manager.
Well, you know, Joe, because you play with Pete too, and I play with Pete a lot of years, and you know when you're on the field and see Pete plays and the way he plays, they make you play harder. They make you do things to win a game, and I think it's going to be the same way as a manager. Pete, we give everything to the game, to baseball, and he will try to win any game he manages and play, and he's going to be the same way. I don't think he's going to change because he's a manager. He's going to be the same Pete Rose I know. He's going to ask his player to hustle and give it 110% like he used to do, or like he do when he play, and really I think they're going to be a good sign for the ball club. I think everybody going to know what he's going to do and have to do to win games.
Tony, you guys, and when you say you guys, we think back to the 70s when you and Joe and Pete and John and all the guys had so much fun in the clubhouse. Everybody was so loose, really not a worry. All they wanted to do was get the game going and play some baseball. And Pete will certainly bring that to us.
He will, because I hear he say already he want to tell everybody what they have to do, what his role is. And back in the 70s, everybody know when he is a player, a regular player, he's a extra man, the guy going to pinch hit and going to play occasionally. And Pete would tell everybody what to do, what he has to do, and what his role in the ball club. And that's good, because here right now, all year, nobody knows who going to play and who knows, and we got all kind of different lineup. I don't know what Pete going to do, but I think he's going to try to tell everybody what they have to do every day when they come to the park.
Tony, I guess a big question for you when you think about you winding down your career, and Pete hasn't certainly mentioned about a coaching staff. He has one right now, but there again, you guys have been friends so many years, and if a question should crop up, what would be your answer?
Well, when I decide to retire, Joe, and come as a coach, I think no better person, no better manager to be a coaching for Pete Rose. I think we've been friends for a long time, and we know each other, and we know what we're capable to do. And if he think I can help him as a coach, I will love to do it, because I know he want to try to win, and the way we played before, he want to be the same as a coach or manager. We're going to try to win every game we go out there.
How much do you think Pete's going to play, Tony? Do you have a feeling for that?
I don't know. Pete, I know Pete wants to play. Pete is the type of guy, he want to be out there on the field, but now he got a manager. He's a manager, and he got another position. And really, I don't know how hard it's going to be for him to be a player manager. I know he can handle it, because Pete is the type of guy, when he put something on his mind to do, he do, and everything always come out right for him. And I hope he can do this job as a player manager. But like he says, I hear something about he says that he cannot play every day. He cannot do the same thing he used to do every day. I think he's right, and well, I think he would play some.
Tony, in looking at Pete and thinking about a guy as a manager, and I think one of the big things is understanding the players, and I think if there's one guy that would understand our guys, it will be Pete.
The guys, just to play against him, and everybody respect him, everybody know who Pete Rose is, and what he been doing for 20-some years, and all the players here, even myself, respect him for that. And the young players over here, they have to realize they playing for a guy who put a lot of numbers over there and the ball, and you have to respect that. And for you want to play for a guy like Pete Rose, you have to be ready to play 110%. Give you extra because he will ask for, because that's the way he played all his life.
True, Tony, our time's gone. Well, let's start a win streak tonight.
Just come to the park and support Pete Rose. We're going to have a lot of fun.
All right. Tony Perez has been our guest. We'll look at the starting pitchers after this word. Back with the Cincinnati Reds, and he's got his best going tonight, Mario Soto. The Cubs will send out Dick Ruthven. Soto making his 26th start of the year with the 10 complete games and the 322 earned run average. He's 1-0 against the Cubs this year, 6-4 lifetime, 12-6 for the year. Dick Ruthven, 3-7 on the year with a 421 earned run average. He's won 5 and lost 14 against the Reds lifetime. He's 0-1 here in the 84 season. Those are your starters. We'll be back with play-by-play in just a couple of minutes.
Radio. The 1984 Cincinnati Reds are on the air. Reds baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beer. Reach for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Marathon and Marathon dealers and distributors. Best in the long run. By Chevrolet. America is on the move, and Chevrolet is supplying the wheels. Chevrolet and you, taking charge. By Steel, chainsaws, grass and weed trimmers, and leaf blowers. The play-by-play action of Cincinnati Reds baseball, here's Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxall. Good evening, everybody.
everybody, from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Welcome once again to Reds baseball. In a matter of minutes, the managerial career of Peter Edward Rose will begin as the head man with the Cincinnati Reds, and the excitement and expectancy here at Riverfront Stadium, the likes of which we have not seen in a long, long time. A crowd expected to be somewhere in the mid to upper 30,000. And, of course, the Reds facing the National League Eastern Division leading Chicago Cubs. Pete Rose having the benefit tonight of having his best go against this team in his managerial debut, and right-hander Mario Soto, the Cubs counter with right-hander Dick Ruffin. And we'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. Now, the starting lineups tonight, first for Chicago, leading off and playing center field will be Bob Dernier. Ryan Sandberg returns to the Chicago lineup. He's at second base and batting second. Hitting third and left field, Gary Matthews. Batting cleanup at first base, Leon Durham. Hitting fifth in right field, Keith Moreland. Batting number 6 at third base, Ron Say. Jody Davis will catch and hit seventh. Batting eighth at shortstop, Tom Bereiser. And batting ninth and pitching, right-hander Dick Ruffin. Again for the Cubs, Dernier in center field, Sandberg at second base, Matthews in left, Durham at first, Moreland in right field, Say at third, with Davis catching, Bereiser at shortstop, and Ruffin pitching. For the Reds, to lead off in center field, Gary Reedus. Batting in the 2 position at first base, Pete Rose. Dave Parker will be in right field, batting third. The cleanup hitter, left fielder Cesar Cedeno. Brad Gulden will catch and bat fifth. Hitting sixth at third base, Dave Concepcion. Ron Oster will play second base and bat in the 7th position. Hitting eighth, the shortstop, Tom Foley. And batting ninth and pitching, right-hander Mario Soto. Once more for the Reds, Reedus in center field, Rose at first base, Parker in right, Cedeno in left field, Gulden catching, Concepcion at third, with Oster at second, Foley at short, and Soto pitching. Game time temperatures are in the mid-80s, and, of course, very humid and somewhat overcast here in Cincinnati. They had projected a crowd of somewhere in the neighborhood of 18,000. That was before the announcement that, of course, leaked on Wednesday night when the club was in St. Louis, and later confirmed by one of the owners of the Reds Ball Club, Bill Williams, and then officially confirmed by Reds Vice President of Publicity, Jim Ferguson, that Pete Rose was, in fact, returning to Cincinnati as this club's player manager. And all of a sudden, ticket sales took off. There were lines outside the stadium yesterday morning. The game start tonight has been delayed some 10 minutes due to the fact that there is a considerable amount of traffic in and around the ballpark, people trying to get in who have tickets, people who are trying to buy tickets. And as we said, this is the kind of excitement that we have not seen, Joe, probably since the 70s when this ball club dominated Major League Baseball.
It's been a while, to say the least, and it's nice to see it back. And, you know, Marty, I'm just sitting here thinking, and had this been able to be kept a secret, I mean a total secret, which is virtually impossible, to see Pete walk through that door possibly yesterday at that press conference, could you imagine? The reaction's unbelievable the way it stands. But had this all been a total surprise, who knows what might have happened in this ballpark tonight? And it's still there. The electricity is there, and you know, you look at Pete, and he is so thrilled. I think one of the happiest persons in the whole wide world is wearing 14 also tonight. Little Pete. And I tell you what, I told him, I said, I'm going to tell you something, Googie. I said, I want you to go home, and I want you to get rid of those San Diego hats, the Chicago hats, the Dodger hats, the Giant hats. Get them out. He said, no, I got to keep them, you know, decoration. But he is happy. We're all happy to have Pete back. There's no question about it. And if you look at Pete and his career as a player, and it's going to continue, but I'm sure it's going to be slowed down because if we know Pete Rose, he is going to do exactly what he said, and that is turn things around and make this Cincinnati baseball team the team that the fans deserve. And certainly if there's one individual that will put forth 110%, which is what he always uses, he's the guy that'll do it.
Joe, are you surprised he's in the lineup tonight?
Well, I was, but then I got to thinking about it, and I think what you mentioned with Bob about Cherry, you know, you think about all the folks that are here tonight to welcome Pete back, then I think it's most deserving that Pete put himself in the lineup for those fans. And it's, I think it's a tribute to the fans when you look back on this thing and those that were very upset at Pete leaving Cincinnati, and I think it's a real tribute to their feelings about Pete Rose that they didn't want him to leave Cincinnati. He's back, they're here, and Pete's in the lineup, and I think that's Pete's maybe way of rewarding the fan also, his appreciation of their support.
You know, one of the things that impressed me concerning his comments at the news conference yesterday was singling out George Sugar and how much of a value he would be to Pete coming in as a rookie manager, never having had the benefit of managing in the minor leagues, and as Pete said, and it's so very true, Sugar's forgotten more baseball than most of us will ever know.
I think the great thing about that, Marty, Pete can say he hasn't managed, and certainly there's certain things that a manager has to do, and George as an individual can fill in those voids. But, when you look back on Pete Rose, and I guess the best ballpark that I could set an example is the way between innings. Between innings.
You're right.
If he wasn't hitting, he had his arm up on that top step, and he was watching every move in that field. And that's not only with the Phillies, when he was with the Reds. And so I'm sure he's going to rely on Suggs a lot, and rightly so, because George is one of the best baseball minds in all of baseball. And he's very fortunate to have George Sugar with him, and we all know what he did with Sparky and Russ last year. So Pete is very fortunate, and he's very appreciative to have George with him.
You made the comment about Pete between innings and being in that dugout. I don't think there would be too many ball players on this ball club now that would take a trek up to the clubhouse and spend any time up there during the course of a ball game.
I'd recommend they didn't.
Yeah, I would too. In fact, Tony Perez, of course, made the comment in St. Louis Wednesday night about cautioning the ball players. Don't think he's going to be easy, because if you think that, you're going to be in trouble.
Well, you've heard me say it 199 times, and maybe more than that. Pete just believes in one thing, as we've said before, it's as corny as it can be. But the thing is, it's only 90 feet to first base, and if you can't run hard there, then either you're injured or you really don't give a damn.
That's right, exactly. That roar you heard just a second ago was, of course, the announcement that Pete Rose would be in the Red starting lineup and batting second and playing first base. Pete, as you heard the pregame show earlier tonight, made the comment, yes, I will be at first base tonight, and Nick Osansky will be back at first base in the second game of this series tomorrow night. But again, I think it's out of a sense of obligation, really, for how wonderful the people in this town and in Reds country were to Pete when he was a player here, and the great feeling that they showed in not agreeing with the club's decision back in 1978 to let him leave here, that if he's going to come back, which he has done as a player-manager with this club, that, he owes it to him to be in the lineup, and that he is tonight. As we mentioned, the game has been delayed. Right now, we're 6 minutes away from the first pitch in this, the opening game of the series against Chicago. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just a moment. With Joe Nuxall, Marty Brenneman back at Riverfront. Pete has just gotten his third ovation of the night as he has left the Reds dugout to take the lineup card out to home plate. And I think it's kind of interesting, Joe, that in his first game as a manager of the Reds, the man he will be managing against, also a graduate of West High, and his third base coach, Jim Fry's third base coach, also a graduate, in Don Zimmer.
And all four of them, I say all four of them because we include Russ Nixon of Montreal right now, are ex-managers or are managers in the major leagues. I think that's a great tribute to a high school, one high school. I don't think there's any in the world can come up with those kind of credentials when you talk about baseball.
No, I wouldn't think so.
And, of course, Jimmy and Pete, a little age difference there, and Jim and little age difference, of course, but both of them great baseball, man. All three of them, Don Zimmer, and Pete, and Jim, and, I'm sure Jim Fry's looking forward to managing against Pete Rose.
Right now, they're posing for photographers. The umpires peel back facing the door directly behind home plate where a gathering of photographers are to take pictures, and this has just been an unbelievable event in terms of media coverage. There were over 300 people at the news conference to officially announce Pete's coming that was held on the AstroTurf yesterday simply because the Crosley room inside the stadium, which they normally reserve for news conferences of that nature, was not big enough. And they've got media people from New York and Chicago and Los Angeles and all points on the compass from the continental United States on hand here tonight. They have filled up the press box. They have had to move them down into the dining room. So this is a major sports event without any question, and certainly one of the biggest events in the history of this Cincinnati Reds franchise. The Reds have been announced. They've taken the field. Mario Soto just now reaching the Riverfront Stadium mound. We might tell you that we had the playing of our national anthem shortly before we went on the air live here. It was around 20 minutes after 7, this being Shrine Night, and that was a pageant unto itself, as it normally is, with the Shriners from all over the areas with their various and sundry groups combining down on the field, and they played the national anthem at 7:20, so we wanted to fill you in on that. In the event you thought it might have been overlooked, it most certainly was not. Mario Soto, 12-6 with a 3.22 ERA. This will be his 26th start of the year, a loser in his last outing. Earlier this weekend, St. Louis, the Reds, we might point out, in Vern Rapp's final game as manager of this club, a winner in 11, 3-2 in St. Louis on Wednesday night. Brad Golden had the base hit that beat Bruce Sutter by a run, and the Reds would like to think that with that victory underneath their belts, their 51st of the year against 70 losses, and with Pete making his managerial debut here tonight, they can make it 2 in a row as they face, at least wins and losses-wise, the best team in the National League Eastern Division in this Chicago Cubs team right now with a 2.5-game lead over the New York Mets. But the Cubs have not been playing well. They have just come out of Houston where they dropped 3 games in a row. They would like to think that that happened simply because for all but one of the innings, they were without the services of their outstanding second baseman and maybe the prime candidate for National League MVP honors, Ryne Sandberg. He's back in the lineup tonight, and certainly, without any question, it is a different Chicago club when he's in the lineup as it is when he is not in the lineup. Bob Dernier leading it off. Speedy center fielder batting .307 as Soto kicks and throws. The pitch is high for a ball, and this game is underway. Dernier with 2 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Dave Concepcion about even up with the bag at third, as is number 14 at first. The 1-0 from the Reds right-hander, and it is swung on and pulled down the left field line. Base hit. Ball goes to the corner. Dernier, who can run, will go to second easy with a 2-base hit. I'll tell you something. We've got a few Cub fans in the ball yard tonight, folks.
You know they're here. They've been here before. I can go back to, the 70s, I guess, when they had a contending ball club there for a while. They come out of the walls. They can't get them in Wrigley Field, so they come down here and support the Cubs here.
They definitely can't get into Wrigley Field these days. So a leadoff double by Bob Dernier, and that brings up Ryne Sandberg. His numbers, .319 batting average, 15 home runs, 67 runs batted in. Soto checking Dernier at second, the pitch taken for a strike. He suffered a hip injury when he collided with Astros first baseman Enos Cabell on Monday night. On a close play at first base, had to leave the lineup and did not see any more action in that series. So the Cubs trying to strike here in the first inning with Dernier at second. The Reds outfield pretty much plays Sandberg as an off-field hitter. Right-handed batter who grounds one up the middle. Dernier will come to third as Foley looks that way and now throws on to Rose, knocking off Sandberg, 1 out. The batter, left fielder Gary Matthews. The Sarge hitting .286, 56 RBIs and 8 home runs. Record-wise, the Cubs have won 70 and lost 50. They are 1 better in the loss column than the New York Mets, who show a record of 66 victories and 51 losses. So Dernier visiting with third base coach Don Zimmer as he takes the lead. And to the right-handed batting Matthews, the pitch is swung on and missed. Defensively for the Reds, Pete Rose at first, Ron Oster at second, Tom Foley at short, Dave Concepcion at third. The outfield, Cesar Cedeno, Gary Reedus, and Dave Parker, left, center, and right, and Brad Golden behind the plate. The pitch is up and in, and it evens the count on Matthews at 1 ball and 1 strike. Soto working quickly. The pitch is swung on and grounded into left field for a base hit. Scoring, Dernier from third, and the Cubs take a 1-0 lead. sure you have asked a question, either to yourself or to somebody who might be listening to this ball game with you. Considering that Rose is a player manager, what are the rules concerning his visits to the mound? He is allowed one per inning. The umpires to make the determination of what constitutes a visit. Of course, if you're in the dugout, when you cross that line, that is an official visit, that foul line. But if you are a player manager, you can go to the mound one time for every inning of the game. But anything more than once in an inning, and that pitcher has got to be replaced. A throw to first, Matthews back, and now the pitch is taken high, a ball to Leon Durham. Another Cincinnati native and a fine talent in his own right. Durham batting .296 with 16 home runs and 68 RBIs. Spent some time on the disabled list earlier this season with a dislocated shoulder. But back and healthy and swinging that bat again. Soto checking and pitching, and Durham swinging and missing. 1 ball and 1 strike. Plate umpire is Harry Wendelstadt. At first base, Bob Davidson. At second, Dick Stello. And at third, Jerry Dale. Cubs have scored. Leadoff double by Dernier, a ground out by Sandberg, and a base hit to left by Matthews, who draws another throw. Mentioned Don Zimmer, the third base coach. Over at first for the Cubs, a former Red, John Bukovic. And the 1-1 pitch. Durham bounces to the box. Soto turns. He'll go to Foley. Foley on to Rose. That's the double play, and that's the inning. 1 run, 2 hits. After a half, Cubs 1, Reds coming up. 1-0 Chicago as we move to the bottom of the first. Gary Reedus leading it off against right-hander Dick Ruthven, and the right-hander comes to him, and Reedus takes it high a ball. Dick spending time earlier this season also on the disabled list. 3 wins, 7 losses with a .421 earned run average. No complete games in 15 prior starts. His 1-0 pitch, and Reedus takes the strike. Gary checks in at .266, 19 RBIs and 7 home runs. Pete Rose kneeling in the on-deck circle. He'll bat next. Ruthven shaking off catcher Jody Davis and pitching. And Reedus takes a fastball for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is the 102nd different lineup the Reds have played this season. Thought you might be interested in knowing that. Here's a 1-2, and it's just off the plate outside for a ball. We had to put that in there. 2-2 the count. And the pitch, and Reedus checking on a pitch away. Ruthven almost got him to chase a bad ball, but he held up in time. Meanwhile, atop the stadium, the trailer behind the airplane reads, "End of the woes, we got Rose. Love Marge." That is one of the Reds owners, Marge Schott, who comes up with those ditties from time to time. 3-2 pitch. And a hard smash, base hit left field. Ruthven goes 3-2. Reedus singles to left, and now they come to their feet in mass. They're at Riverfront. In the blues and the greens and the yellows and the reds, they are all standing. Pete Rose is back in Cincinnati. And roses are being cascaded now in some areas down on the field, on the warning track, to the home plate end of the Reds dugout, and they are still standing as Ruthven goes into his stretch. There goes Reedus. The pitch is taken a strike. The base for Gary Reedus. And you don't think this stadium would come unbent if he got a base hit now and tied it up? He's hitting .259 with 23 RBIs. As a Cincinnati Red, he is in that batter's box hitting for the first time in over 5.5 years. And we have missed him. Ruthven checking back at second. And the 1-strike pitch to Rose is on the way. Pete takes high, and it's even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Appeared in 95 games with Montreal, but that's a little bit misleading because after the Danny Dreesen trade, he was primarily used as a pinch hitter. 1-1 to count on him with Reedus at second base. Here's the pitch, and a line drive, base hit into left center field. Here comes Gary Reedus, and Rose has tied it up. The ball gets by Dernier. Pete is heading toward third, and he's going to be in head first. How about frozen rope. Toward left center field. The ball got through Bob Dernier. Rita scores. Pete is at second base and third base rather. And boy, what a way to come back.
Well, that brings us back to last year with Johnny Bench. And that doesn't match it. There'll never be anything else that matches it. I'm telling you. That's unbelievable.
I'm telling you. An error is going to be scored on the play. Dernier is going to be charged with an error. Pete will be credited with a single, an RBI, and a two-base error on Bob Dernier. It makes no difference whatsoever. Here's Dave Parker, and he looks at a strike. What an amazing comeback. Joe is 100% right. What Bench did last September the 17th, with an overflow crowd in here, hitting a home run off Mike Madden of Houston, and now Pete coming back before a big crowd this 17th of August, 84, and driving in the tying run. Just unbelievable. Parker fouls the ball back into the seats, and he's behind 2 strikes. A 1-1 tie with one out, or with nobody out, and the go-ahead run standing down at third base. Parker, the top run producer on the Reds team, with 64 RBIs, yet mired in quite a slump. Dave has had but 2 hits in his last 22 times up. The outfield playing him to pull. Ruthven throws. Parker swings and lifts it foul off third, and it's out of play. What the heck? He might put himself back in the lineup tomorrow night. That's a pretty good way to start. It was his 24th RBI of the year, if you're counting. The 0-2. Parker swings. Fly ball, center field. Dernier coming on. Rose at the bag to tag. The catch is made. Pete bluffs to go, and he's going to stop right there. He's not going to chance it. And Dernier made a pretty good throw. So with one out, Rose still at third. We take a look at the man batting cleanup tonight in Cesar Cedeno. Batting .251 with 6 homers and 26 RBIs. The Cub infield now will play in. I don't want to forget to tell you that to make room on the Reds 25-man roster for Rose as a player, the Reds disabled Eric Davis. That right knee that has caused him problems has put him on the disabled list, and that's why Rose found a place for himself. The pitch is in for a called strike. Leon Durham first, Ryan Sandberg second, Tom Verizor at short, Ron Say at third, all pulled in tight. As CeCe looks for a pitch to drive to get Rose in with a tie-breaking run. He takes the strike, and he's behind 0-2, so Cedeno looking him over, much to his disadvantage, and now we'll back off the plate and regroup. In left field, Gary Matthews, Bob Dernier is in center, and right field, Keith Moreland. Jody Davis, of course, the catcher. Dick Ruthven gave up a leadoff base hit to Ritas, who stole second and came home on a base hit by Pete Rose. Pete got 2 extra bases due to the Bob Dernier error, and Parker's fly to shallow center. Cedeno checks on a high fastball. 1-2. Pete taking his lead at third base. Ruthven throwing, and the pitch is high and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think the fans here would have been disappointed had he not gone into third base in a head-first slide. He didn't disappoint a soul, and now he hopes to be able to come home with a run that would send his ball club in front. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cedeno at the plate, Golden in a moment. Ruthven with a slow come down. He deals, and Cedeno way out in front on a change, and he's a strikeout victim. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. Keith Landecker. Here's Golden now with 2 out, the infield back at normal depth. Brad takes a strike. He was the hero of Wednesday night's 3-2 win in St. Louis. He knocked in the Reds' first run, and then had the base hit in the 11th inning that beat Bruce Sutter 3-2. Golden batting .210 with 4 homers and 26 RBIs. And the pitch is a little bit high, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Cub outfield also playing Golden to pull the pitch. And he lets it pass ball 2. 2-1. Most, if not all, of the players in the clubhouse wearing shirts underneath their game jerseys. It says Pete's back. I understand those shirts were enjoying brisk sales at the Reds 580 gift shop earlier today. Here's a flare over third. Say going back. It's a foul ball. He couldn't get it and made quite an effort to track it down, but the ball went foul. So Rose will go back to third, and Golden will step back in with a 2-2 count. And Say a little bit slow coming up off that AstroTurf behind third base. He might have banged himself up a bit.
Marty, it looks like the way it looks is left hand. He might have jammed a wrist or some fingers. And it looks like he's going to be all right. But when he hit the turf and diving for the ball, I think he might have jammed his hand just slightly. But Ronald's a gamer too,
isn't he? He's all right. Cub trainer and manager Jim Fry heading back to the third base dugout. Well, 2 balls and 2 strikes, and it is holding on catcher Golden. Due up next, Dave Concepcion. Brad up in that batter's box as Ruthven straddles the pitching rubber, looks over at third base, making sure Ron Say's okay, and Ron checking himself out. Now Jody Davis hangs the sign down, and the break-even pitch. And a line drive hit to right. Rose bangs his hands together as he crosses home, and the Reds lead 2-1. Pete being greeted by his new teammates in the Reds dugout. Now the Cubs get 1, the Reds get 2, and they continue to hit. Here's Davey. .239 batter. The Reds captain, 4 home runs. He's driven in 39. Ruthven sets and fires, and the pitch is taken strike. So Brad Golden starting to swing that bat with a little bit more consistency now, and boy, that would help this ball club the rest of the way. Pitch is taken high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Reds have had 3 hits in the inning. There's been a big error by center fielder Bob Dernier. Golden leading at first base. Davey swings on the change, and he's behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just outside, 2-2 the count. To score, Cincinnati. Reds batting in the first inning. Davey, who has hit Cubs pitching well this season with 7 hits and 17 times up, trying to come up with another one, and the pitch is lined to right field, down the line, base hit in the corner. Golden having to hurry. He hits third. Here's Moreland's throw to the cutoff man. Sandberg's throw to the plate off line. 1 Cincinnati. And Golden scores from first. Now to the mound goes Jody Davis to talk with Dick Ruthven as Ron Oster waits.
Oh, it looked like a fastball, and Ruthven didn't quite get it by Davey. And like to see more of that.
Well, Ron Oster, hitting .242, has homered once with 26 RBIs, and he's a man who said in the clubhouse at Busch Stadium on Wednesday night when it was made official, "My idol is coming back." Pete Rose is a guy who Ron Oster has tried to emulate ever since the day he first picked up a baseball in a glove. Ronnie takes a change for a strike.
Marty, Pete talked to O about hitting in the 7th spot in the lineup, and he was really concerned whether O would be upset, but not so. He said, O was telling me, he said he came up and he said, you know, I'm going to hit second because I can give up a little more. And he said, you get that, extend that hitting streak down there. And he was tickled to death.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, good first inning for the Reds, and another hit would give them a 3-run lead. Ruffin, backward glance at second. What? So he's been swinging a hot bat. Low and inside, ball 3. Rose knocked in the tie-in run. Golden knocked in the run that fractured the tie, and Concepcion doubled to make it a 3-1 game. It's 3-1 right now on Oster with Foley waiting. Oster, the 7th man to bat here in the first inning. Ruffin's had a rough go of it. And it's ball 4, and the Reds have him at first and second. Nobody throwing in the Chicago bullpen, but manager Jim Fry is going to go out for a chat. Dick Ruffin was one of the people who, upon hearing the news in Houston, where the Cubs were 2 nights ago, who had made no bones about the fact when he was asked what kind of manager Pete Rose would make, and of course Dick Ruffin and a number of the other members of this Cubs ball club played with Pete in Philadelphia, he said he will make an outstanding manager because he communicated better with everybody on this ball club than anybody else. Joe, do you have a comment?
I was wondering about Jim Fry going out in the mirror.
Dave Concepcion at second. Ron Oster at first. 2 men out with 3 runs home. Foley taking on the outside edge, a called strike. It looks like they're going to get somebody to start throwing in the Cub bullpen. And that somebody is going to be right-hander Warren Brewster. Ruffin unloading. Foley swinging and hitting it foul and then bouncing out toward the mound where Ruffin picks it up and will allow the inspection by plate umpire Harry Wendelstedt. Foley batting .231 with 4 home runs. He's driven in 25. Left-handed batting red shortstop, and the Cub outfield plays him to pull. A lot of real estate down the left field line. 1-2. And it's too low for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Davey backing off the bag at second. Foley taking strike 3, and that's the inning. But the Reds get 3 runs, 4 hits. 1 Cubs error with 2 men left on, and at the end of 1 complete, the Reds lead Chicago 3-1. 3-1 Cincinnati as we go to the top half of the second. Chicago will be sending up Keith Moreland, Ron Say, and Jody Davis. They scored on Soto in the first inning on a leadoff double by Bob Dernier and a 1-out base hit by Gary Matthews, but then Leon Durham bounced back to Soto, and that was the beginning of a 1-6-3 inning-ending double play. Well, Moreland heading toward the plate and ready to hit, and I'll tell you, when you consider the fact that the Cubs, in acquiring Rick Sutcliffe, who was the key to the 3 newcomers that came from Cleveland in that June 13th trade, the others being catcher Ron Hasse and George Frazier, they had to give up a pretty good outfielder in Mel Hall, but boy, the way Moreland has hit, especially since the All-Star break, they haven't missed Hall at all. The pitch to the right-handed batter has taken ball high. He has just been quite something else, and that is exactly what they needed when they opted to make that big trade with Cleveland. Pitch is over for a called strike. Speaking of Sutcliffe, we will be seeing him tomorrow night in the 7:05 start. He, with a 10-1 record, will oppose Andy McGaffigan, and then on Sunday it'll be Jeff Russell against Scott Sanderson. Pitch is down and outside, and Moreland in front, 2 balls and 1 strike. Soto checking in with Golden and throwing the pitch and a foul back. Back since the Mel Hall trade, Moreland hitting .315 with 12 home runs and 49 RBIs. Before that trade, he was almost a forgotten man on this club. There was talk of him being traded. In fact, he was very responsive to the possibility of being dealt somewhere where he could play on pretty much of an everyday basis. He swings and chops it to the box. Soto has it. First base side. Flips to Rose. One out. To the plate comes third baseman Ron Cey. Ron not doing much by way of an average, but boy, I'll tell you, in the other categories, namely the power departments, he is more than carrying his weight, batting only .222, but Cey leading the Cubs in home runs with 18 and has driven in 69 runs. He is doing the job he's paid to do, and has hit the long ball and drive in runs. Last 18 games, he's had 5 home runs and 14 knocked in. He checks his swing, did not go far enough. Reds are in front, 3-1 as the Cubs hit in the second. There's a line drive to left for a foul ball. If you joined us late, you missed some pure, unadulterated excitement in the first inning. As Pete Rose marked his return to the Cincinnati Reds with a base hit to tie the game up, and went all the way to third on a two-base error by Dernier, later came in to score the go-ahead run. So if his return was not already a triumphant one, he crossed the tee with that first inning base hit. Here's a line drive caught by Foley at shortstop. 2 out. And the batter, catcher Jody Davis. Well, this is a pretty good Chicago baseball team, isn't it?
Well, you look at, we usually analyze the starting lineup, and boy, I tell you, 67 RBIs, 56, 68, 60, 69, 77. That's offense.
That's strong. That is strong. Taken for a ball inside by Davis. He's had 77 RBIs. That's best on the club. 17 home runs and a .265 batting average. Up high, ball 2, 2-0. Of course, the big question was pitching, and you really got to take your hat off to the job that Dallas Green has done. He got Tim Stoddard for almost nothing from Oakland during spring training. Check swing, and nope, he went too far, says first base umpire Bob Davidson. Stoddard has been some kind of help in that bullpen with a big guy, Lee Smith. Then came the trade for Dennis Eckersley in May, and then came the trade for Rick Sutcliffe from the Indians in June. And pitching was what the Cubs needed the most. The pitch is up and in, and Davis goes down. 3 balls, 1 strike. And Jody collecting himself and now settling back in. Soto lets it go, and Davis takes strike 2, full count. The interesting thing about Mario Soto starting this game tonight, he was the starting pitcher in Russ Nixon's first game as a Reds manager, first starting pitcher in Vern Rapp's first game, and the starting pitcher in Pete Rose's first game. Here's ball 4 outside. Now, Jody Davis heads on down to first, and the batter will be shortstop Tom Bereiser. Bereiser batting .195, no homers and 2 RBIs. Pitch is down and outside, ball 1. Soto doing a little bit of landscaping on the mound as he looks into the dugout. Might point out that George Sugar pretty much runs things when Pete Rose is in the lineup. Although, as Pete pointed out yesterday in the news conference, Fred Golden right now going out to talk with Soto. He and Pete will have little signs between them just to communicate when Pete is at first base and George, of course, is over in the dugout. To the plate, and it swung on by Bereiser. He didn't get it. 1 ball, 1 strike. That one grounded to Oster. Ron's play will be to Pete, and that's the inning. No runs, no hits. They leave one. And after 1.5, Reds 3, Cubs 1. Red's first inning, he leads off the second and takes a strike from his counterpart, Dick Ruthven. Soto, who has a home run this season, the only one struck by a Reds pitcher, hits him at a 188 clip. He holds back on the pitch, and it's high, and it's a ball on the strike. Like Jay Tibbs getting his throwing in between starts. Loosening down on the Reds bullpen. 1-1 pitch. And a ground ball. Hit to the right side and into right field. Base hit. Sandberg could not run it down. Soto with an opposite field ground single to right. The Reds have their fifth base knock off of Dick Ruthven. Now Gary Reedus, who's 1 for 1, has a stolen base, scored the tying run in the first. Reedus jumps his batting average up to 269. Johnny Bench was on hand tonight. He was down in the Reds clubhouse to wish Pete well. Sparky Anderson called Pete earlier today to offer some advice. Pitch is taken outside, ball one.
You must have called him twice then, because when I left the clubhouse, he was talking to Sparky.
That must have been when he called.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'd love to know what that conversation consisted of. Pitch is swung on and hit into right center field, coming on Dernier, and he will flag it down for the out. Soto retreats to first. Here comes Pete back for the second time in as many innings. RBI, went to third on Dernier's two-base error on the hit, and eventually scored in the first inning. Taking the short lead, and Rose looks over the pitch that's low for a ball. In case you're wondering, Pete's last appearance for the Reds in a National League game was October the 1st, 1978. In this ballpark, of course, against the Atlanta Braves when he went 1 for 2 with 2 walks and a run knocked in. That, of course, was before tonight. 2 balls and no strikes. And making his first appearance in a Reds uniform since the 21st of November that year, when the Reds faced the Yomiuri Giants in Shizuoka, Japan. That was on that tour of Japan after the 78 season. Davis to the mound, back to the plate. 2 balls and no strikes on Rose, with 1 out and 1 on here in the second. Reds lead by a couple of runs. Ruthven delivers. Pete swings. Ground ball second. It is Sandberg, it is Verizon, and it is Durham. That's the double play. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit. And at the end of 2 complete, the Reds over the Cubs, 3-1. Third turn at the plate coming up for Jimmy Fry's Chicago Cubs. It'll be Dick Ruthven to start it off against Mario Soto. And here with a play-by-play, Joe Nuttall.
Thank you, Marty. Ruthven, Dernier, and Sandberg to face Soto as the Cubs bat in the third. Dick Ruthven, a .219 batting average. He has driven in 2 runs and on 3 doubles. That's leading at 3-1 after the Cubs scored a run in the first. Reds came back in their half of the first to pick up 3. 3-1 ball game. The Cubs a couple of hits off Soto. They came in the first inning when Dernier doubled down the left field line, and Matthews singles the left to score Dernier with the Cubs' 1 run. Ruthven, Dernier, and Sandberg. Well, the crowd, I guess, would be in the neighborhood of 35,000, somewhere about. Ruthven into the batter's box, and Soto ready to go to work. His first pitch on the way, and Ruthven swings on the slider and misses. Off field. He was a couple of steps toward right for Dernier in center field. A foul by Ruthven, and it's 0-2. Bob Dernier, the on-deck batter. Mario delivers the 0-2. Outside, a fastball, 1-2. A line pitch, swung on and missed, and Soto has his first strikeout. A one away, and Bob Dernier steps in. As we said, Bob started the game off with a double, his 18th of the year. Boy, he's having quite a year for the Cubs, a 307 batting average. Dernier has scored 71 runs. Ryan Sandberg has scored 83. Soto working, and that's a strike call. Areo back with the 0-1. Check swing, and it's just high. A ball, a strike. Line to pitch. A bunt third base side, but foul. A 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bob Dernier. Sandberg, the on-deck batter. First for 3 with Chicago tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon. Monday it'll be the Cardinals for 3. Soto delivers the 1-2, and it's swung on and popped up. Rose foul territory in the Reds bullpen. He has it 2 away. No pass to station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Live via satellite. Nighttime America. Midnight to 6 nights a week on Wacky Radio, WAKY, Louisville.
Ryan Sandberg tries to check his swing, and he doesn't. The strike called. I checked with Jerry Davis, the first baser, Davidson, the first base umpire, and he throws out the right hand, Bob Davidson. The 0-1. Slider outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1. Swung on, top foul. That one was out back into the seats. Soto in front, 1-2 to Ryan Sandberg. Well, a happy birthday goes out to one of the Reds owners, Marge Schott. Mario's 1-2, and Sandberg swings and grounds it up the middle. Diving grab by Foley, up, throwing, right in time. Play by Tom Foley, but Sandberg with good speed, he just barely nipped him. Third hit of the game for Chicago, and that'll bring Gary Matthews to the plate. Well, I tell you, Foley got up on his feet in a hurry. Well, Sandberg at first, 2 out, and Matthews at the plate. An RBI in the first, his 57th, throw over to first, and Sandberg back. Leon Durham waiting on deck. Soto sets, goes again to first, and Sandberg back. Matthews hitting .286. With the base hit, he's up to .288. 8 home runs and now 57 RBIs. It takes the slider high and inside. 1-0. Soto to the belt. The pitch. High, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. Eastern Division, the Western Division, the American League is shaping up to be something very tight. Minnesota a game and a half up on California. The Kansas City Royals 3.5 out. Chicago 4 and Oakland 4.5. Well, I think we have the minor league player of the year in our organization. I would be surprised if it isn't. That would be Alan Nicely. One ball 3 high. He's had 3 more hits last night, 3 more RBIs, his 28th home run. He now has 110 RBIs. Took a good year. The pitch going outside, ball 4, and Matthews walks on 4 straight. That'll bring Leon Durham to the plate. Runners at first and second, and Durham at the plate, and he bounced into a double play to end the first inning. Soto delivers, and it's swung on and missed. The pitch down and in. No balls to strike to Leon Durham. Cincinnati Flavor and both in the lineups tonight. Pitch outside. Ron Oster, Pete Rose, Dave Parker. The Reds. Leon Durham, of course, the Cubs. John Zimmer at third, a Cincinnatian. Jim Fry, a Cincinnatian. Durham looks at strike 2, and Soto in front of all 2 strikes. Waiting on Durham. Leon back into the batter's box. Alden hangs the sign to stretch. A check of Sandberg and a pitch. Just inside a fastball, and it evens at 2-2. Taking his time, shaking off the sign from Golden. Now Brad will go out to have a quick meeting with Soto. Tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow evening, rather, Andy McGattigan for the Reds and Rick Sutcliffe for the Cubs. And Sunday afternoon, Jeff Russell will face Scott Sanderson. Golden back behind the plate. Soto ready. He delivers the 2-2, and it's swung on and grounded foul off the first baseline. The count holds 2-2 to Durham. On a .296 batting average. Soto again delivers the 2-2, and that's swung on and fouled straight back. Holding at 2-2. Houston struck out, and Vernier popped out to start the inning, but was single on the walk. Sandberg's infield single, and Matthews walked to put the 2 runners on. Now Soto wants another baseball from Harry Whittlestead, the plate umpire. Bob Davison at first, Dick Stello second, and Terry Dale at third. 3-1, the Reds lead. We're in the top of the third. And the pitch. That's inside. A full count to Leon Durham. Leon almost stepped into one. Keith Moreland waiting on deck. Oh, with 2 away, the runners will be moving. Sandberg at second and Matthews at first. Toto ready with a payoff. And the runners go, and it's swung on and chopped foul off the foot of Durham. Almost came down and hit him again. Count holding 3-2. Right now, Concepcion over with a quick word for Soto. All the scoring coming in the first. The Cubs getting 1, and they're at half the first. The Reds 3 in the bottom half. And Soto gets a baseball from Harry Wendelstead. I would wonder why. Sometimes it has to do with the seams. Other times the ball's not rubbed up properly. Soto again ready with the 3-2. Runners go, and it's swung on, and it should be a 4-1 ball game. Or 4-3, and it is. Durham jumped all over that fastball and hit it off the facing of green seats in deep right center field. And for Durham, that's his 17th of the year and gives him 71 RBIs. So all this happened after 2 outs. You can probably hear in the background, they got a whole bunch of Cub fans here at Riverfront. And they show their places. And Durham, it's his 17th with 2 on, and it is now a 4-3 game. The Cubs leading. This pitch to Moreland is blowing outside the ball. Leon Durham turns it around in a hurry. Moreland takes ball outside, and it's 2 balls, no strike. Now 2-0. That's the strike call. Field straight away to Keith, and the pitch swung on and hit off the end of the bat. I went over to the Reds dugout. Now even 2-2. He started off, as he said, with Woodson striking out. They're popping out to Rose in foul territory, and then the infield single by Sandberg, going to walk to Matthews. 2-2 delivery. Swung on, and that's popped up. Ron Oster backpedaling out into right field, waiting, and he hasn't nudged the inning. But the Cubs go in front with 3 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors, no one left. Middle of the 3rd. Cubs 4 and the Reds 3. All of a sudden, the Reds trail by 1 as they bat in the 3rd. It'll be Dave Parker leading it off. Dave, and then Cedeno and Golden to face Dick Rootson. The Reds have had 5 hits off Rootson and 3 runs. 4 of those hits coming in the 1st inning. Dave in the 1st, the fly ball to Dernier in center field. Rootson delivers, and Parker takes it low and inside, ball 1. Dave hitting in the 3rd spot. They're working. David fouls it back and into the seats. 1-1. Outfield about straight away to Parker as Rootson delivers the 1-1. It's inside. 2 balls in front. Pirates to run. Lead Houston 1-0, fourth inning. That's Pittsburgh. Parker takes low, and the count goes 3-1 today. Wilson delivers. Swung on and hit down the left field line, but foul. And it sounded like Dave might have broken his bat. He's inspecting it, but apparently it's all right. And the count pulled to Parker. There he is, leaning on the railing, deep. Payoff on the way. Dave swings and he bounces to Durham at first. He'll take it himself, and that's out number one. One away, and Cedeno steps in. Susi struck out in the first inning. Winds and delivers. Cedeno bunts but pops it up. Foul ball. That one will go foul. Say allows it to drop. Cedeno hitting 251. And 6 home runs and 26 RBIs. Brad Golden on deck. Wilson into the line, the pitch. It's outside. 1-1. Here's the 1-1, and Cedeno swings and pulls it deep into left field. Looking up, Matthews. It's gone. Cedeno, his 7th home run of the year, and it ties it up at 4-4. Susi got out there and really rolled those wrists on that one. Looked like a breaking ball. There's Brad Golden, and he swings and fouls the first pitch. With 6 hits. Wilson has the sign from Jody Davis. And the 0-1 to Golden. Curveball, strike 2 call. Brad. Concepcion waiting on deck. Davey has doubled in the first to drive in a run, and Golden singled in the first to drive in one. Here's the 0-2. Fastball outside. A ball, 2 strikes. Wilson back with a 1-2. Curve is swung on, fly ball right. Marlin waiting on it, almost in his steps, and he has it 2 away. Had Brad out in front just a little bit, taking something off the curve. And Dave Concepcion steps in. Davey doubled down the right field line. His 20th double of the year and his 40th RBI. Wilson working. Davey taking the slider for a called strike. Tied up 4-4 here in the third. Concepcion looks at the fastball, and that's strike 2 call. So 0-2 the count to Concepcion. Davey walks away from the plate. Now steps back in. The 0-2. Oh, that's foul off the end of the bat, rolling to the Reds dugout. Wilson shaking off a couple of signs from Davis. Now the 0-2. That's a change. It's down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Takes off a sign and delivers the 1-2. The fastball high. Count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Dave Concepcion. Ron Oster waiting on deck. Concepcion backs away from the plate. Now steps back in. Ruthven delivers the 2-2. Taking pitch outside, full count. Here's the payoff, and it's swung on and hit off the end of the bat. It's off one bouncer to Verizon at short. He throws, and that's the inning. Well, the Reds are on a hit. The Oilers, no one left. And at the end of 3, it's the Reds 4, the Cubs 4. Go to the 4th inning here at Riverfront, tied up 4-4. And for the Cubs, it'll be Ron Shea, Jody Davis, and Tom Verizon to face Mario Soto. Cubs are running the first, and then in the 3rd, after Richmond had struck out, Bernier had popped out. Sandberg just beat out an infield single. Matthews walked, and then pulled down. He hit one off the facing of the green seats in deep right center field. Ron Shea, the lead it off. Ron in the 2nd inning, line to Tom Foley at short. So Shea into the batter's box. And Soto delivers a high ball. Mario has the sign. And the 1-0, and Ron Shea takes that one high and outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the 2-0. Pitching outside. 3-0 to Ron Shea. Out. And now Shea looks at the strike. He just stepped away from the plate. Sometimes you better be ready. Don't let them decoy you. So the 3-1, Shea takes it strike 2 fall to the knees, and a full count to Ron Shea. Shea out of the batter's box. Now steps back in. And the payoff. Swung on, line to center field. That's the base hit. Harry Rivas plays it back to the infield, and that's the 5th hit of the game for the Cubs, and that brings Jody Davis to the plate. Jody walked in the 2nd inning with 2 out. Davis has hit and fall over the last 17 games he has started. 4 doubles, 3 home runs, and has driven in 15 in that period. Strike, 0-1. Stay at first base. Soto sets and delivers. Swung on, ground ball, could be two. Foley, Oster, throws, double play underneath it. There it goes 6-4 to 3, the double play, and that's the second one the Reds have turned in tonight. Threw away, and Tom Verizon the batter. Verizon in the second inning grounded to Oster to end the inning. How about Jody Davis? She's already thrown out more base runners this year than all of last year. 47. Last year he threw out the 43. Reiser takes high, ball one. Soto the 1-0. Check swing foul. It evens the ball to strike. Mario's 1-1, and Verizon takes strike two call on the outside corner, and it's a ball, 2 strikes to Tom Verizon. Pitcher Dick Ruthven on deck. 1-2, swung on and bounced foul. A change up, all up just a bit. Alden hangs aside. And again the 1-2. That's in the dirt and goes right through Brad Golden. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two out, bases empty. 2-2 the count, and Soto back to the plate. That's just outside. A full count to Verizon. Verizon hitting 195. He has driven in a couple of runs and a double. The pitch. Swung on and grounded to Foley. Nice hop for Tom. His throw on the Rose, and that's the inning. Cubs in the fourth. No runs are hit, no errors, no one left. Middle of the fourth. Reds 4, Cubs 4. Reds in the bottom half of the fourth will send up Oster, Foley, and Soto to face Dick Ruthven. Ron walked in the first inning. On with a 15-game hitting streak on the line in St. Louis. He got that 15th game in the last time at bat. That was in the 11th inning. I think that's the 10th inning when he doubled with 2 out. He looks for the strike from Ruthven. Reds with 6 hits off Ruthven. He struck out 1. He has not walked a batter. Or he's walked 1. The pitch. Oh, swings and misses, and it's 0-2. Ruthven in front, 0-2 to Ron Oster. He delivers the 0-2, and that's strike 3 call on the inside corner, and Ron not really in agreement with plate umpire Harry Whittlestead. He heads back to the dugout. Second strikeout for Dick Ruthven, and the batter is Tom Foley. Tom looked at the called 3rd strike in the first inning. Ruthven misses with the first pitch, a ball. The 1-0. Foley pops it up. Sandberg. Second has it in shallow right. 2 away. Well, 2 out. Mario Soto steps in. Soto singled, leading off the second inning. Greatest fly balls to Dernier in right center, and then Rose hit into the double play. I'll tell you what, I'd like to see Mario get a hold of one, because there'll be some embarrassed outfielders. Particularly Dernier and Moreland. They're very shallow, and center, and Matthews is in, and he's way around to the right in left field towards center. The pitch, strike called, and he was at 1-1. Reedus on deck. The 1-1 swung on and missed, and Mario was going for it. That's what you call spinning to the nth degree. 1-2 to Soto. Ruthven delivers, and it's swung on, and a high chopper at Verizon at short. Takes a bad hop. He fields and throws to Durham, and that's the inning. So the Reds out in order for the first time in the game, and after 4, Reds 4, the Cubs 4. Before we go to the 5th inning, we'll pass the station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. 4 innings. The stats show the Cubs 4 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error. The Reds 4 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. For Chicago, Dick Ruthven will lead it off as we go to the 5th. And back with the action, Marty Brenneman.
Thank you, Joe. Well, it's not been the easiest of nights for either of these starting pitchers. What with the Cubs getting 1 in the first and the 3-run homer by Durham in the 3rd inning off Soto, and the Reds countering with 3 in the first and the home run by Cedeno in the bottom of the 3rd to tie it up, all off of Dick Ruthven. Well, obviously, both are hoping that the bad things are behind them, and they have now reached a point where they're going to settle down here. Ruthven, Dernier, and Sandberg in the 5th inning. And it's taken ball 1. Ruthven struck out. The only strikeout Soto has had through the first 4 innings. 1-0 pitch, and it's swung on and hit to right. High fly ball, straight away. Parker waiting. And he makes a catch. Bob Dernier 1 for 2. He led off the game with a double to left, scored, and then popped up foul at first. Prior to tonight, can you name the last time that Pete Rose wore a Cincinnati Reds uniform and where? Well, we gave that to you. That, folks, comes straight off the Reds note sheet tonight. If you, if you're a media type and you have access to that sheet and you make a habit of reading what's on it, then you'll know the answer. 1 ball and no strikes. The count on Dernier. And he checks his swing, and that cost him a strike. They refer to Dernier and Sandberg in Chicago as the Daily Double. And that is not a bad nickname, considering the way these two fellas have produced this season. Here's a swing and a fly ball toward right near the line. Long run, Parker. Can he get it? Yes. Stepped over the foul line, made the catch, and then had to brace himself against heavy contact against that wall in the Reds bullpen. Good play by Big Dave for out number 2. Now Ryan Sandberg, who's grounded out and reached on an infield single. They have various and sundry won-lost records for Chicago, depending upon if this happens concerning Dernier and Sandberg or that happens. There's a called strike. They are 14-3 when Dernier and Sandberg reach to lead off the first. They're 19-5 when they combine for at least 3 hits. Called strike 2, no balls and 2 strikes. 14-2 when Sandberg gets 3 or more hits, and 35-7 when Sandberg gets 2 or more hits. That's breaking it down, and it also underlines how vitally important and productive these two fellows have been. A ball and 2 strikes on Sandberg, now batting an even .320. He is among the hitting leaders in the National League, but a fur piece from Tony Gwynn. Swing and a miss. Soto came up and in on him with an outstanding pitch. Gets his second strikeout, and the Cubs go down 1-2-3. We're in the middle of the 5th inning of a 4-4 ball game. Well, this is the 5th inning and time to play the Reds on Radio Chevy Grand Slam inning. Tonight's contestant, A.L. Taylor of Corbin, Kentucky. If a Reds player hits a Grand Slam home run here in the 5th, A.L. Taylor will win a brand new Chevy Camaro. And for Cincinnati, it's going to be the top of the order, Reedus, Rose, and Parker. Elsewhere in the National League tonight, Pittsburgh leading the Houston Astros by a score of 3-1. Jason Thompson has homered for the Bucks. Enos Cabell has done it for the Astros, who have won 6 in a row. They're the hottest team in the league at the moment. Atlanta gets one in the first inning off Andujar. The Cardinals are batting off of Pascual Perez. Later on, Montreal at San Diego, Philly at L.A., and New York at San Francisco. Reedus has singled and scored and flied out. Ruthven throwing to him, and Gary taking ball high. In the American League, Toronto, Chicago, no score after 1. Through 5.5 in Cleveland, the Indians are leading the Milwaukee Brewers 4-3. Andre Thornton a home run for the Indians. Here's a fly ball to right coming on Moreland. It'll hang up for him, and he'll make the catch. Boston trailing Minnesota 2-1 at the end of 4 at Fenway. Tigers 4, Seattle nothing after 3. Here comes Rose. Oakland leading New York 6-1 in the bottom of the third at Yankee Stadium. Dave Kingman has hit his 30th with a man on. And it is Baltimore leading California 4-3 after 1.5. The Angels got 3 off of McGregor, and the Orioles tallied 4 off of Jim Slayton. Peter is singled, knocked in a run, has scored, and has bounced into a double play. He tried to push one third base side, and the bunt's foul. No matter showing signs of settling down a bit. Ruthven has now retired 5-6 in a row since the third inning home run that tied the game up off the bat of Cedeno. The 1-strike pitch to Pete, and he takes it low and inside. It is all even on Rose at 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't think Pete minded a little bit, dropping those socks back down after 5 years of pulling them sky high with first the Phillies and then the Expos. He takes it outside, a ball, 2-1. Well, some of the folks in attendance here tonight start the chant of Pete. They did it in the first inning, and you hear it periodically now. 2-1 the count on him, and he hits it down the left field line. It drifts toward the seats, and it's out of play. 2-2. One out, nobody on. Dave Parker coming up next. Rose trying to ignite something. 2-2 pitch, and a ground ball up the middle, but picked off by the shortstop. Ariser throws him out. Here's Parker with 2 away. They fly to center in the first, and the third let off and bounced down to the first baseman, Leon Durham. Parker still trying to get the hit that might take him out of this slump. And here's a drive. Back into right center. It's got a chance. It's gone. Well, there's a hit. And that sends the Reds in front 5-4. Number 12 for Big Dave. Cedeno, who lit him up back in the third, coming to the plate. He gives Parker a high five, and now Dave goes to the dugout. CeCe drove one out of here in the third inning to left field, his 7th home run. That's number 12 for Parker. So the Reds jump out in front again on a long ball. It's 5-4 Cincinnati, and CeCe swinging late and unable to make contact on Ruthven's first delivery. Hit hard and up the middle into center field for a base hit. Cedeno rounds first, puts on the brakes. He has his second. So Dick Ruthven, if he was thinking about settling down, now has to be thinking about other things. With 2 down, a home run by Parker, a hard hit ground single to center by Cedeno, and the inning continues for Brad Golden. Ran out a base hit and an RBI in the first inning, scored later on, and then flied out to Moreland and right in the third. He's 1 for 2. CC edging off the bag. Ruthven, there goes the runner. Pitch is taken. The throw down to second base. Got him. Cedeno's going to argue the call with Dick Ruthven, and an unpopular decision with the fans because it looked like Cedeno had his right foot on the bag when Tom Bereiser put the tag on him. But that's going to be the inning, and for the Reds, 1 run on 2 hits. After 5 complete, Reds 5, Cubs 4. Licensed drivers 18 and older, no purchase necessary. Gary Matthews, ball 1 as we go to the 6th. Again, the last time Pete wore a Reds uniform was November 21, 1978, when the Reds played an exhibition against the Yomiuri Giants in Shizuoka, Japan. Pitch is high, ball 2. Matthews tonight has singled, RBI, walked and scored. You have a problem?
That's a weak.
Shizuoka, Japan.
That's weak, though.
Oh, well, how much money you got? Here's a foul back. If it's that weak.
I'm talking about the
question.
Season.
Oh, I agree with that.
Season.
That's the kind of question that is very misleading to people because they would naturally not remember that tour of Japan, and they would rack their brains over saying, well, let's see, when was the last game they played? So would I. Well, we didn't happen to make that trip, if you'll remember. 3 balls and 1 strike. You might remember that.
That's it. If I ever write a book, that'd be a full chapter.
Thank you, Jack. There's ball 4. Matthews walks. Here's a guy who had the big blow for the Cubs so far, Leon Durham, a 3-run home run in the 3rd. The Bull is now hammered 17 out of National League Park and has driven in 71 runs. Ball to him. Time is called as Brad Golden heads out toward the mound, and Pete Rose walking slowly in from first base, but not quite getting there. So that doesn't constitute a visit. I'll tell you, there are not too many hitters in this Cubs lineup you can let up on. Durham swings and sends it towards center. Reed is coming in. He'll make the play, 1 out. Now Keith Moreland. He's tapped to the mound and has also popped up to second base. Soto's taken care of him in his first 2 trips in there. Veteran Reds fans can buy box and reserve seat tickets for half price at the Reds' upcoming Senior Citizen Special. It will be Tuesday right here against the Cardinals. Everybody 65 and over can take advantage of these special prices. That is Tuesday night against the Cardinals, 7:35 start. Throw to first. Matthews steps back. Ball taken for a strike. Well, we certainly want to extend get well wishes to a fine gentleman, Wade Hoyt, hospitalized in Jewish Hospital, and they say he wanted to be down here in the worst sort of way to wish Pete Rose good luck in his new endeavor. Runner going, pitch out, call for it. Now they got Matthews hung up, throw to second. He breaks back toward first. Foley to Rose. Pete running him to Oster. He puts the tag on him. 1 to 6 to 3 to 4. 2 to 6 to 3 to 4 on the put out of Matthews. He realized he was in heavy trouble when he took off and saw the Reds were pitching out.
Buddy, I think the good thing about it, Brad Golden handled it very well. He could have thrown the ball the first time he stopped, but he didn't fall for it, and that's played it very well. Pete and all 4 of them played it very well.
So with 2 down and a 1-1 count on Moreland. And a foul ball straight back. So we certainly hope that Waite is getting better. Will be back home very soon and be able to fulfill his desire of getting down here and visiting with Pete. I'm sure it's something Pete would look forward to. Another foul. This one back upstairs into the upper deck. Kicks and throws, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Soto's third. That's the inning. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on. After 5.5, 1-run game. Reds 5, Cubs 4. For the Reds in the bottom of the 6th inning is going to be Brad Gulden. He was at the plate when Cedeno was called out stealing in a less than proper call by second base umpire Dick Stello. So Gulden will go back to hit. 1 for 2, RBI, has scored a run. Mario Soto in the Reds dugout mopping himself dry on a humid night, humid, hazy evening here in Cincinnati. And this crowd of, well, it looks to be at least 35,000 has been entertained by a very interesting ball game. Ruthven delivers. Gulden takes ball 1 upstairs. Atlanta leading St. Louis 1-0. That game's in the second. High for a ball, 2-0. Where San Diego continues to lead the West by 9 1/2 games over the Braves. They may just well turn out the lights in this division. Can't see either Atlanta or the Dodgers catching them, and the LA now is 11.5 back. Pitch is taken for a strike. Gulden, Concepcion, and Oster. 5, 6, and 7 here in the 6th inning with the Reds holding a 1-run lead. Swung on and a hit to right. Over to cut it off, Moreland. Gulden turns first and will stop right there. So Cincinnati comes up with his 9th base hit as Gulden opens up the 6th with a hit to right. Warren Brewster will start up again in the Chicago bullpen. He was throwing briefly back in the 1st inning. Jody Davis and Dick Ruthven will meet between the mound and the plate, and once again Jim Fry, the Chicago manager, will head on out to the mound from that third base dugout and visit for a while. After 5.5 in Pittsburgh, the Pirates are up 1 on Houston at 3-2.
Well, yeah, I think this, again, is just a little courtesy visit. Let Warren get a little breather and make sure he's feeling all right. This being the 6th inning, and like any big thing going on, or it certainly doesn't look that way. Jody Davis there, and Jim, a few words of encouragement for Mr. Ruthven, and now heads back to the dugout.
Dave Concepcion, he figured prominently in the 3-run Reds 1st inning. He had a double to right to get a run home, grounded out the shortstop in the 3rd inning. Reds have had a hit, at least a hit, in every inning with the exception of the 3rd. Make that the 4th inning when Oster, Foley, and Soto were retired in order. Check swing, and it's in, call strike. Got to figure that this will be the final inning of work for Ruthven. Should the Cubs get somebody on in their half of the 7th inning, he is scheduled to bat 4th. Obviously, manager Jim Fry would like to see Dick get out of this inning. Pitch is taken for a strike. 1 ball, no balls, and 2 strikes. Davey now checking with third base coach Joe Sparks. And a throw on to first base. Gulden gets back easily. 7:05 start tomorrow night. Andy McGaffigan against Rick Sutcliffe, and then, of course, it'll be Beach Boys Day on Sunday. The Reds and the Cubs at 2:15. Jeff Russell against Scott Sanderson, followed by the Beach Boys in full concert after the game. 1-2. Then we'll be taking another look at Whitey Herzog's Cardinals on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. The Reds will have an off day next Thursday, and then we'll be in Pittsburgh over the next weekend, followed by 3 games in 2 days in Chicago. After an off day there a week from Monday, the Reds will double up that Tuesday afternoon as a result of an early rain out there. Runner goes, pitch is taken, Jody Davis throwing, and Golden is going to be out a mile. It goes to the shortstop, Tom Bereiser, to knock off Golden. 2-2 on Concepcion. Something had to be on there. Apparently Davey missed a sign or something with Golden running. Possibly the hit and run, and somebody didn't pick it up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ball 3. Well, the Reds have attempted 3 steals on Davis, and he has risen to the occasion on 2 of those 3 attempts. Gary Rita stealing on him in the first inning. Slow ground ball, slapped to third, behind the back save. Field throws, and off the bag was Durham. Davey safe. Charge Ron Say with a throwing error that took Durham to the home plate side of the bag, and first base umpire Bob Davidson right on top of the action. No argument from Durham or anybody else on the Chicago Ball Club. So the Cubs are charged with their second error. Ron Oster with a walk and a strikeout. Ruthven turns, throws to Durham. Oster waiting. 1 man out, 1 man on here in the 6th inning, and Ronnie takes the strike. Reds have played well against the Cubs. In the 6 previous games, Cincinnati has won 4 of them, including a 3-game series sweep back in May at Wrigley Field. In light of the kind of year the Cubs have had since then, that's pretty impressive. Not too many people have been able to do that, especially in their ballpark. And we'll have another chance week after next. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Congratulate the some 600-plus Shriners who were on the field for pregame entertainment tonight. Shriners honored Pete Rose, Larry Starr, and equipment manager Bernie Stowe. Here's a drive to deep right if it's fair. It's foul. There was not much of that ball Ron Oster didn't get. But he pulls it foul to the seats in right field. Ruthven has already thrown 2 pitches tonight that have left the ballpark, one off the bat of Cedeno and then the one off Parker's bat. While CeCe tied it in the 3rd, Parker untied it in the 5th. Cubs led 1-0 after a half inning. Reds led 3-1 after 1 full. Cubs led 4-3 after 2.5. It was 4-4 after 3 and 5-4 on Parker's blast in the 5th. And a ground ball foul between the bag and the coaching box at first. Holding on the Red second baseman, ball 1, strike 2. Ruthven checking in with Jody Davis. Good lead by Davey at first. Here's a fly ball headed toward Matthews in left center. And he backs up to make the catch. 2 out. We'll pause again for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. 2 out batter. Tommy has struck out and popped up to the second baseman, Sandberg. Ryan playing very deep for him at second base. 2 or 3 steps behind that back white line, almost a shallow right. Ball 1. Two away in the inning. Golden opened with a hit to right. He was thrown out stealing. Davey reached on the throwing error by Say. Oster is flied to left and a throw to first, and they pick him off. Dick Ruthven, Leon Durham, Davey caught. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, nobody left on. We go to the final 3 innings with the Reds leading by 1 at 5-4. Well, it's 5-4 Cincinnati as we move to the top half of the 7th inning. Festive atmosphere here at the ballpark. The return of Pete Rose. His first game as manager of the Reds as playing manager, and he's contributed with a first-inning RBI single. For the Cubs, it's going to be Ron Say to lead off this 7th. And back to tell you about it, here's Joe.
Thank you, Marty. And for the Cubs, Say, Davis, and Verizon here in the 7th inning. The Reds up by a run at 5-4. Mario has 3 strikeouts. The Cubs have had 5 hits off Soto, and he has walked 3, and all 4 runs earned runs. So hold them right here, and if we can pick up a couple of more runs. Say is 1 for 3, line to Foley in the 2nd inning, and then single to center in the 4th. Warren Brewster continues to throw in the Chicago bullpen. Marty talking about Wade Hoyt. We certainly want to wish the best to Ivo Goodman. Ivo, as you well know, one of the former Red greats who was in Bethesda North Hospital. It's taken outside by Ron Say, a ball. Every time I think of Old Goody, I think of those pheasant trips we used to have up in Paulding County, Ohio. Now, you want to hear some tall tales, you get that group together. You can believe about 1 out of every 3,000.
There were no lies told,
No.
Huh?
No.
I didn't think
They just stretch stories a little.
Yeah.
You know, like a rubber band. One that would stretch for a mile. 2-0 the count to Ron Say. Say takes high and inside. 3 balls, no strike. Mario waiting on the sign, and look out here. Let's see. And the pitch. Nope. That's strike call. The Say walks away from the plate. Jody Davis on deck. Cubs scored in the 1st. 3-1 pitch. Check swing, and that's low and outside. Ball 4, and Ted Power will start throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. 4th walk issued by Soto. Here's Jody Davis, and Jody has walked and grounded into a double play, and his 2 times up. Davis having quite a year for the Cubs. He leads them in RBIs with 77. Right now, Brad Golden going out to the mound to talk with Soto. Pete's kind of strapped, I guess, when you look at it. Has to be careful when he goes, and if Stan Williams should come out, remember that he has been there. That's kind of a tough situation for Pete Rose at first base. Jody Davis, a check swing bouncer. It's going to be fair, taken by Golden, so it really winds up a good sacrifice. But Davis charged with the time at bat as Say moves on to second base. That'll bring Tom Verizon to the plate. Verizon 0 for 2 is grounded to second, grounded to short in his 2 times up. Jay Johnstone out of the dugout. He's going to go to the plate to hit for Dick Ruthven. So 1 out. Reiser at the plate. Jody Davis out. Dalton to Rose. The stretch and the pitch for Reiser. Swings, ground ball. Davey, good play at third. Fields throws to Rose. Threw away as Fay holds, and that ball got right in the seam, and Concepcion stuck right with it and fielded easily. Oh, 2 away. Jay Johnstone, the batter. Left-handed batter, Johnstone, and Jay's hitting .309 with 10 RBIs, and he is 7 for 19 as a pinch hitter with a home run and 4 RBIs. Pitch to Johnstone, and that's on the outside corner, called strike. Take it back. Johnstone's 10 for 34 with 1 RBI. He's had 2 doubles and 2 triples. We'll say at second with 2 out. Reds lead it 5-4. Soto to the plate. Johnstone checks, and it's inside a ball. 1-1. Johnny Franco and Ted Powers loosening in the Reds bullpen. Soto's 1-1. Johnstone swings and misses. The pitch up. 1-2. That's not Warren Brewster. George Frazier. Swing and a miss on the change, and Mario gets his 4th strikeout in the big one. Well, in the inning for the Cubs, no runs, no hits, no errors, a runner left. Middle of the 7th, Reds 5, Cubs 4. New pitcher on the mound for Chicago. It's right-hander George Frazier. And Frazier is 1-2 and lost 2 with a .414 earned run average, making his 22nd appearance of the year, and he's ready to go to work on Tom Foley, and he is outside with a fastball. Frazier, 37 innings, allowed 29 hits, has walked 17, and struck out 37. The 1-0 to Tom Foley. Swung on and lined to right field. That's the base hit. Moreland plays it on the mound. Hit number 10 for the Reds, and it'll bring Mario Soto to the plate, and question is what Soto will be doing. Soto 1 for 2. He singled a ride in the second, and in the 4th inning, grounded to Reiser at short. Reiser sets and delivers, and Soto bunts first base side. Durham has it. He looks at second, then throws back to Sandberg, covering, and good bunt by Mario as Foley moves on to second base. He's there with 1 out, and Gary Reed is the batter. Now the Soto goes 3-4. Reedus, 1 for 3, single and stole second in the first, and scores the first run of the game for the Reds. Second inning, a fly ball to the near and right center, and then in the 5th, a fly ball to Moreland and right. Pastore and Ochinko throwing in the Reds bullpen just to get their throwing in for the day. Reedus takes low from Frazier, ball 1. Frazier, former St. Louis Cardinal. Well, 1-0. Swung on and bounced foul. Joe Sparks, the third base coach of the Reds, field. Not even 1-1. Cubs scoring first. They got a run in the first inning. The Reds came back with 3 in their half of the first, and then Durham in the third inning, a 3-run homer, but Cedeno hit his 7th of the year in the bottom half of the third to tie it at 4-4, and Parker a homer in the 5th to put us up by 1. Ritas takes high and inside a fastball. 2-1 to count. IBI for Gary here would give him 20 on the year. Fraser checking with Jody Davis's catcher. He's to the belt. And the pitch swung on and foul. Straight back, and the count evens 2-2. Fraser with a new baseball. Walking around the back of the mound. George back on the pitching rubber and looks into Jody Davis. Foley at second, 1 out. Reds leading 5-4. Big run. The stretch in the pitch, and it swung on and hit off the fist of Verizon at short. Now it's throw on to Durham. Throw away as Foley holds at second base, and that'll bring Pete Rose up. He's up for the 4th time. He's 1 for 3 at RBI and has scored a run. Pete, I tell you, his first time up, thought he had never left here with a hustle and the headlong slide into third. So, well, he's just been missing a couple of days. He's always been here. Beat at the plate, a .260 batting average. He has an RBI. He takes a strike from Frazier. His 24th RBI of the year coming in the first inning. Dave Parker on deck. Frazier sets. He delivers, and Rose takes inside. 1-1. Probably here in the background. Let's go, Pete. Oh, if you want to see them get on their feet real quick. Get a base hit, Pete. Here's the 1-1. Swung on, looped down the left field line. That's a base hit. And here comes Foley. Rose on his way to second. He'll have a double. He's in with a headlong slide, and the Reds made it 6-4. Well, you can go out and buy all this nice thing you want. I mean, it's for sale at all drugstores. Supermarkets can just go out and buy this thing. Down here right now. That's amazing. Well, Pete with his second RBI, his second hit, and his double. That's his 7th of the year. And they're going to 6-4. Meantime, they're going to intentionally pass Dave Parker to get the Cesar Cedeno. That was the 10th hit of the 11th hit of the game for the Reds. There's ball 2 to Parker. Ball 3. Pete Rose, a 2-out double to put the Reds up by 2 at 6-4. Parker moves on to first base, and here's Cedeno. CC tied it up in the 3rd inning with the 7th home run of the year. Cedeno 2 for 3, singled in the 5th, and then was caught stealing in that 5th inning on a perfect throw by Jody Davis, and it had to be, and still Cedeno questioned the call by Dick Strillo at second base. Not heavily, but he questioned it. Frazier sets, he delivers, and Cedeno pops it up. Say crosses a foul territory, waiting on it, and he has it next inning. So the Reds get a run on a couple of hits. There were no errors, the runner left. And the end of 7. It's the Reds 6, the Cubs 4. 7 inning totals. The Cubs 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors. The Reds 6 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. For Chicago in the 8th inning, it'll be Bob Dernier to lead it off, and back for the action, here's Marty.
Thank you, Joe. We got a change defensively for Cincinnati. Eddie Milner is now in center field, having replaced Gary Reedus.
Marty, I was down in the super box, and Beth McConnell down there. Her mother and father celebrated their 30th wedding anniversary, the 15th of this month. And she wanted to have us say congratulations, Mary and Bill.
Absolutely.
So we've done that for you, Beth.
Yes, sir, Beth. Congratulations to your mom and dad, their 30th wedding anniversary.
Hot dogs tomorrow, too.
Yes, sir. Now the Reds lead by 2, thanks to the double by Pete Rose in the 7th inning. He's had 2 hits. They scored once, has driven in 2. I'd say that's a pretty good return. Here in the 8th inning, it'll be Bob Dernier to open it up. Dernier, Evelyn scored, popped up foul, and Dave Parker made a fine running catch to pick off his foul fly to right in the 5th inning. Ted Power, Johnny Franco heating up in the Reds bullpen. Bob Dernier getting his batting gloves adjusted before standing into the batter's box. Here's a pitch. And Dernier takes high, ball 1. You hear the crowd, I'm sure. 1-0 pitch, swung on, fouled upstairs. This is more spirit than we have seen at this ballpark. I cannot tell you the last time. And it is all because of one man's return. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitches inside, ball 2, 2-1. I'll be honest with you, it really blows your mind to realize that they let him leave here. I mean, it is unbelievable. I'm sorry. 2-1 pitch. And it's taken for a call strike, and it's even at 2-2. Tell you, Mario Soto has not given up a hit over the last 3 innings. In fact, the last base hit by a Cub was Ron Say's single in the 4th. Here's a fly ball headed toward Milner. Eddie's going to take care of that one with no sweat. 1 out. We certainly want to extend our condolences to the family of Tommy Aaron. Tommy, the brother of Henry Aaron, passing away yesterday after a long battle with leukemia. Fine, fine man, and a gentleman who will be missed greatly by the Atlanta Braves and by the game of Major League Baseball. Here's Ryan Sandberg. He swings and misses on a pretty good heater.
Marty, you know, Tommy fought to the bitter end. I tell you, he battled addictions out of it. It is a sad note. Was a fine person.
1 strike to count, and Sandberg, other than that, he's pitched pretty well. 0-2 delivery, and he comes high and tight to Sandberg. One out, 8th inning. Reds lead by 2. And a ground ball that Oster will backhand, planting, throwing, out. Close play at first, but they got him. 2 down. Follow the Reds on the Reds Radio Network. 4 loyal network stations, WMPO in Middleport, Pomeroy, Ohio. WJRS in Jamestown, Kentucky. WWHC in Hartford City, Indiana. And in Huntington, West Virginia, WGNT. The batter, Gary Matthews, has been on 3 straight times. Matthews singled home a first inning run, has walked twice. Here's a foul pop out of play right side. Oh, 1 pitch. High and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Matthews.
outs away from win number 13, and there's strike 2 call on the outside corner. One and two as the right-hander throws. And it's popped up over near the Reds dugout. Rose over, pounds the glove, side, retires. 3 up, 3 down. 7.5 are in the books. Reds 6, Cubs 4. Well, the Reds come to bat for what they hope will be the final time tonight. Brad Golden singled twice in 3 trips with a run batted in. Pete Rose conferring with one of the 2 guys who were with him originally back during the heyday of the Big Red Machine, Davey Concepcion, and of course Tony Perez coming back this past winter. Davey was the lone remaining member after Danny Gleason was traded that had been with the club through all the good and bad years. Pitch is over for a called strike. George Frazier touched up for a run on a couple of hits in his first inning of work to 7. Dick Ruthen's pitching line, by the way, 6 innings, 9 hits. He gave up 5 runs, all earned with a walk and 3 strikeouts. Golden takes this one in the dirt. That skips all the way back to the screen and evens up things at 1-1. The attendance here tonight, 35,056. 35,056. That is the biggest crowd since opening day at Riverfront. 1 ball, 1 strike. Golden leveling the bat as Frazier checks down with Davis, delivers, and Golden taking low and inside ball 2. 2-1. We might tell you that if the Reds win, the star of the game show will be done live on the field. Dave Parker will be the star of the game, but an added biggie, number 14, will also discuss his victory in game 1 of his managerial career. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Golden fouls it down the first baseline. So Joe's Time the Game show will be conducted out around the home plate area, I would imagine, where we have done such things in the past. Dave Parker would be a star of the game. He had the home run in the 5th inning that put the Reds in front. And Joe will also be chatting with Pete Rose. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's Frazier's motion and pitch. Golden swings, bounces it by the mound, charging Sandberg, throwing on to first baseman Durham, 1 out. Dave Concepcion is doubled, RBI, grounded out to shortstop, and was on through a Ron-Say throwing error in the 6th inning. Signs adorn the stadium tonight, many of them, of course, in support of the Chicago Cubs, but many others, of course, welcoming Pete back. Repeat the glory. P-E-T-E. Repeat the glory. Welcome home, Pete. Welcome home, Pete. Going outside, ball 1. So the man returned tonight and has made his presence felt. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 1-0 delivery, and it's down and outside. I think the crowd got as big a charge out of watching Pete slide head first into third and then doing it again at second base than just about anything else, because he is a man who popularized the head first slide. And, hey, that's what Pete Rose is all about. 2-0 the count, and it's over for a called strike. The amazing thing about his coming back is I have not heard, honest to goodness, one negative comment from all the people I've talked to, from all the people who we have heard. Here's a ground ball to second. Sandberg again straightens up and throws. 2 down. Bob Trumpy's program, just caller after caller after caller praising the move made by Bob Housen. Like old times. 2 down for Ron Oster. This is Ron's final shot, in all probability, at extending his hitting streak to 16 games. The fact that Wednesday night's game in St. Louis went to overtime allowed him to extend it to 15 with a double. And there's a line drive base hit center field. So that would complete the night as Ronnie singles to center to extend his hitting streak to 16. That is the longest of Ron Oster's major league career. Previously hit in 15 in a row back in 1981, and of course put the 15-gamer on the line tonight. So the Reds now have collected 12 hits off Cubs pitching. Tom Foley, he single leading off the 7th inning and later scored on Rose's double to left. Frazier will drive Oster back with a throw to first. In the 6th inning at Baltimore, the Angels and the O's are tied up at 5-5. They've got a wild one going there. Frazier steps off after stretching. And another throw on to Durham. If you're thinking about the Cubs' 9th inning, they're going to be sending up Leon Durham, Keith Moreland, and Ron Say. So they've got some heavy hitters coming up against Mario Soto. Long pause by Frazier. And misses high and outside, ball 1. Still 2 games remaining in this series. 7:05 start tomorrow night, 2:15 on Sunday with the Beach Boys to follow in full concert. Foley swings and hits it in the air to shallow left field, going out Verizon, but Matthews has a better shot, and he makes the catch. The 8th inning numbers for the Reds: no runs, 1 hit, and a man left on. We move to the 9th inning, and it's Cincinnati over Chicago 6-4. We're in the 9th inning, and before the Cubs bat, we'll pause one more time for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. Home run off Soto back in the 3rd inning. Mario cranking toward the plate, and the big bull takes it high and away a ball. Very, very talented young man, Leon Durham. There's a strike to him. Yes, indeed, you can. Mr. Winters made a very valid point. You can definitely feel the electricity in this ballpark tonight. 1-1 pitch. There's a foul back. And like Pete pointed out on the pregame show tonight, this is what it's all about. Ball players enjoy playing before crowds like this. We can all remember how it was back in the 70s. This was commonplace. And this is something that we'd like to see on the return. Pitches high and inside, 2-2. Oh, yeah, this was an average crowd back in the 70s. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Soto, I'm sure, does not want to allow Durham to get on with a 2-run lead. And just missed with that pitch. I think Soto wanted it. He's not happy about the call from Harry Wendelstadt. 3-2. After his 13th victory, after his 11th complete game, he has gone the distance on Leon Durham. And here comes his payoff pitch. Foul ball. If Soto can get the complete game in, he would tie Joaquin Andujar for the most complete games in the National League. Andujar has 11, and Soto, the only pitcher in the National League with 10. Bob Knepper, Charlie Lee, Alejandro Pena, Fernando, all with 8. 3-2, and it's on the way. And he walked him, missing badly inside. That will probably get the bullpen active one more time. They had Franco and Power throwing earlier, and the same duo will get after it now. Keith Moreland has grounded to the mound, popped to second, struck out. Mario has issued his 5th walk. Pete Rose now coming in from first base to the mound. And again in response to a caller we had earlier, and we touched on this in the very first inning tonight. A player manager, and of course that is what Pete Rose is, and he's in the lineup for this game. He can go to the mound one time
in every inning if he wants to. But if he needs to make another trip to the mound in the same inning, at that point he's got to change pitchers. Now, he has just gone in once. Here's a pitch to Moreland, and it's swung on and dribbled foul off the end of the bat toward the Red dugout. Once again, the Cub bullpen will start up. It looks like Big Tim Stoddard. Soto with a pause and the one-strike pitch to Moreland. And it's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Moreland would be a very viable candidate for a double play if he should hit the ball on the infield at somebody. The Reds have turned 1-2 double plays tonight, and they couldn't pick a better time to get number 3. There's a fastball for a strike. 1-2. So 2 up in each bullpen. Lee Smith and Tim Stoddard for the Cubs. John Franco, Ted Power for the Reds. Outfield playing Moreland deep and straight away. He's behind on the count. He swings and hits one into center field. Milner moving off to his right, stepping onto the warning track, makes the catch. 1 out. Now it's Ron Cey. Ron is 1 for 2, walked in the 7th inning. That is the only way the Cubs have been able to get on base since the hit by Ron Cey leading off the 4th. Walked to Matthews in the 6th inning. Walked to Cey in the 7th. And this 9th inning leadoff walk to Leon Durham, followed by Moreland's fly ball out to center. Davey guarding the line at third. And it's a ball high. And again, alluding to the reference we made earlier tonight about a pitcher not being able to let up against almost any hitter in this Cubs lineup. You figure the people that Soto is having to contend with here in the 9th. Durham, Moreland, and Cey for certain. And after that, on deck stands Jody Davis. All 4 of those guys can hit one out on you in a minute. And here's a broken bat fly ball center. Milner coming. He'll get it. 2 out. And Jody Davis. Mario Soto, and out away from providing Pete Rose with a victory in his first game ever as a manager in the big leagues. As a manager, period, for that matter. Soto lets it go, and Davis holding back. It's a ball inside, 1-0. If the Reds win it, Joe will have Dave Parker as the star of the game live throughout the stadium and on the field, and also will be chatting with Pete. Outside corner called strike. Dolan hangs a sign, the check of Durham at first, the pitch, and that's inside, ball 2. Golden will run out to the mound. Mario walking behind it. And Golden throwing his hands out away from his sides and making some kind of point to Mario Soto. Reds trying to send the Cubs down to their 4th consecutive loss. They dropped 3 in a row in Houston. Back to the plate comes the Reds right-hander, and Davis takes high, 3-1. They've got Tom Verizon on deck, but I would seriously doubt if we will see him bat again in the event that Davis reaches. Looks like Thad Bosley with a bat in his hand down in front of the Cubs bat rack. Gary Woods also with 1. 3-1. Soto needs a strike.
Davis swings and sends a very high fly ball to left. Cedeno toward the line, and this one belongs to the Reds. Pete Rose is 1-0 as manager of the Cincinnati Reds, as the Reds defeat the Chicago Cubs by a final score of 6-4. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, it has truly been an exciting and a memorable night here at Riverfront Stadium. Pete coming back and, well, contributing the way he did at the plate with a run-scoring first-inning single. You'll hear that, by the way, later on in our Scores and Comments program. And then the big eighth-inning double, seventh-inning double that gave the Reds and Mario Soto a much-needed insurance run. The Reds defeat the Chicago Cubs 6-4. Dave Parker, of course, had the big blow, a fifth-inning home run that broke a 4-4 tie, his 12th of the year. And as a result, Dave Parker picks up the game-winning RBI for Parker, his 10th of the season. The Reds had 6 runs, 12 hits, and left 5. The Cubs 4 runs, 5 hits, stranding 3. Soto, in his 11th complete game, gets his 13th victory with 6 losses in beating Dick Ruthven, a record now of 3-8. Stay with us. We'll be back with more right after this.
What?
Well, a lot of people hanging around here at the ballpark. As we mentioned earlier, very shortly, Joe will be flanked by Dave Parker and Pete Rose as our stars of the game tonight for their very viable contributions toward a Reds win, their 2nd straight, and, of course, being able to send the Cubs down to their 4th consecutive loss, a game that had a lot of exciting moments, and, of course, most of them were reserved for Rose. A number of standing ovations before the game got underway, and then he really lit this crowd up with a first-inning single that tied the game after the Cubs had struck for a run in their half of the inning off Mario Soto. But when all was said and done, the Reds had made Pete's debut as a major league manager a highly successful one, and he had a lot to do with it himself as the Reds defeat Chicago 6-4. Still 2 games. Well, the Reds will try to extend their winning streak to 3 tomorrow night. Andy McGathigan will be making the start for Cincinnati against, a young man who's done an awful lot toward contributing to this Cubs' success in the 2 months he's been with them. Right-hander Rick Sutcliffe, who has won 10 and lost 1. 7:05 starting time tomorrow night. We'll be on the air with the pregame shows and the Reds play-by-play story on most of these same stations beginning at 6:35. Stay tuned now. Joe Nuxall coming up with the star of the game show. He'll be chatting with Dave Parker and manager Pete Rose. And once again, the final score, Reds 6 and the Cubs 4.
Now we're back here at Riverfront Stadium. We're sitting at home plate, and tonight we have 2 stars of the game. One, the winning run, a home run for Dave Parker, his 12th of the year. The other one, his first game as an MGR. He is the winner. He drove in 2 of those 6 runs. And we'll start off with, let's see. We'll start off with Pete because he's holding the flowers and he's a little different today. Hey.
Well, Joe, I'm really happy, and my players played tremendous today, and my veteran players, Caesar and Big Dave, both hit home runs. The enthusiasm was tremendous from the crowd, and I think it really lit up the whole dugout, and it just made everything have a fun day, and I wish it could be like that every day.
Dave, your feelings, your game-winning home run for the new skipper.
Well, I feel real good about it. I think I was really caught up in the excitement. They say everywhere that he goes, there's this charisma with him that kind of creates winning. And tonight I was just caught up in the fact that we had 35,000 people, and I got a new manager, a guy that I've respected my whole career, and the opportunity to play with him now. I've been waiting for that a long time, and I'm just totally excited about him being here and getting the first win for him.
I got a question for you fans. How many times have you witnessed Pete looking like this over the years? Look at him. That's the real Pete Rose, dirty.
Well, I think, I haven't played, I haven't started a game in a couple weeks, and in the first inning, when I got to second base, third base looked like it was down at fifth and vine to me. And I was happy to get a hit there, although all I was trying to do right there is try to pull the ball and get Regis to third for Big Dave, and I ended up getting myself there, and I cost him an RBI because I can't run real fast, and he's got to hit a little further next time, but I was happy with everybody. I mean, Soto really dug down and did a great job. I mean, he's pitching on 3 days rest, and and he showed a lot of gut in the last Saturday. He threw him a 3-1 changeup, and when you got guys that are going to battle like that for you, you just can't wait till tomorrow's game.
Pete, in talking about your first game, certainly I'm sure a lot of excitement for you because here you are, you're confronted with somewhat of maybe having to change a pitcher, an intentional walk, things of that nature. And we made a remark, you have to kind of watch yourself at first base. If you go to the mound, you're done.
Well, one time today when Mario got a base hit to lead off one of the innings, and Gary was the next hitter, I was up in the on-deck circuit. I walked back to George, and he didn't know whether to hit or hit and run or bunt. I looked at him and I said, "Shucks," I said, "good luck." Here's a lot of, I'll help you tomorrow. I'll be in there, but today it's yours, baby.
Dave, now that's an optimist right there, isn't it?
No, without a doubt. You know, I think everybody's caught up in the excitement of him being here. And I'm looking for some big things for the next 40 games. We won one, and we won't win them all, but we're going to win a heck of a lot of them.
We're talking with Dave Parker and, of course, the new manager of the Reds, Pete Rose. We'll have more after this word. Pete Rose and Dave Parker are stars of the game tonight. And, of course, Pete, his first game as the manager of the Cincinnati Reds. It's a winner. And, Pete, the first time you walked into the batter's box tonight, you had a runner in scoring position. What was your feeling?
Well, I told Gary for the game that I want him to do nothing but score runs, and he can run anytime he wants because he's a lot like Timmy Raines in Montreal. He steals bases with ease, and we just want him to run and run. And I took a pitch and let him steal the base, and my job was to get him over, and I had to get a base hit. But I think the whole day today, Joe, is a perfect indication of why I wanted to come back to Cincinnati, because the fans here are so great, and they deserve a winner, and we hope we can give it to them.
Pete, as you mentioned that was the very next question we were going to ask you. You know, I think Bill Stewart was predicting something like 18,000 people tonight, which is a good crowd. And with the announcement of you taking over as the manager and player of the Cincinnati Reds, doubles the crowds. And if that isn't a tribute to an individual, then the stadium is going to cave in right now.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that Cincinnati is the baseball capital of the world. Where baseball started, where the first night game was played, and I'm just happy as hell to be back here. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game, and we may get beat tomorrow, but we're going to give them a good effort, and if we can go out there with the same kind of intensity we did today and just have fun, I told the guys just to have fun and let their talents flow to the top, and everything will take care of itself, because there's a lot of talent sitting in that dugout right over there.
You going to be in there tomorrow?
No, I don't think so. I'll probably be so damn sore tomorrow I won't be able to get out of bed.
Pete, we know you're waiting on you in there, and certainly congratulations and welcome back, big guy.
Thank you.
All right. Pete Rose has been our star of the game. Dave Parker is with us, and certainly, Dave, you watched Pete play, I guess, when you were in high school with the Reds, and certainly you look back on those days, you played against Pete, and you know the competitor he is, and he is, as he always says, he never talks 100%, he says 110%.
Yeah, well, that's the only way to play the game. I think Pete was a big influence on me to go out and play the aggressive style of ball that I do. All I can say about Pete's return is a great day for the city of Cincinnati, and I am just thrilled to be playing with him finally.
Well, we have one more segment to go, and we'll do that after this word. Parker stays with us, and Dave, in talking about the win tonight, certainly that hang in there atmosphere is propped up right quick because of Leon's home run and bingo at the tie ball game, or they're 1-up, and CC comes right back with his long ball, and you get yours to put us up. Pete drives in the 6th run and a big win for the ball club. But did you feel a difference in the clubhouse or not?
Oh, you can definitely feel a difference. Myself, I felt better tonight than I have all season. I guess it's just the fact that Pete reflects so many positive things that it has a tendency to rub off on everyone around him. And receiving him as a player is great, but I think he's going to be one heck of a manager as well.
You know, Dave, you talk about playing against Pete and now playing with him, and a lot of guys admire him. Other ones question what he did, and to be very honest.
Well, you can't be any question about the man's achievements. The man that works hard every day. He's always an aggressive player, and he carries a lot of charisma and the way that he plays the game. But he gets good results, and the record that he's approaching now, that in itself is outstanding. Pete is a phenomenal competitor and a great individual as well. I respected him and loved him before even we had the opportunity to play together, and now that I'm here, I'd like to finish my career with Pete.
We talk about hustle, and I tell you what, this guy sitting right here is right up there with the best of them, Dave, and I mean that sincerely. I've always said it before you ever came here, and I say it in front of all these people, and I mean it. You are an absolute hustler.
Well, thank you. I had a good role model. I watched Pete a lot of years before making it, so some of that kind of rubbed off on me as well.
Well, Dave, tomorrow, the second of the three-game series with the Cubs, and we enjoyed this so much, let's try it again tomorrow night.
That's true, and I'd like to say to the fans, we are getting back to fun. We got Pete back home.
There you are, folks. Dave Parker, game-winning home run. The Reds win it by a score of 6-4. That's it from here at home plate in Riverfront Stadium. Now, on most of these same stations, stay tuned for Marty Brenneman with scores and comments. Tomorrow night, Game 2 of this three-game series with the Cubs. And until then, this is the old left-hander rounding third and heading for home. Good night, everyone.